This is Ray Mooney's Wild World of Wet Shaving. Let's begin. Hey, this is Ray Mooney. Welcome back to the podcast. Today I'm thrilled to have Shane from Blackland Razors with me on the podcast. Welcome, Shane.
Hey Ray, thanks for having me. Happy to be
Pleasure.
here.
Pleasure. Really happy to have you here. So let's just dive right in. For the sake of time and interest, I'm sure you've done it a million times. Some people might know who you are, but for those that don't yet, give me a brief background on the whole Blackland origin story,
Sure. Yeah, so
please.
uh so my name's Shane. Yeah, and I'm the owner of now Above the Tie and Blackland Razors.
Yeah.
We purchased Above the Tie about 2 years ago. But I started Blackland back in 2015, so we're celebrating our 10-year anniversary now. And basically, I was in college at the time, and I was studying physics, but more importantly, I was really into cycling triathlons, and so I was trying to design a bike part that I had in my head, but I couldn't draw and still can't draw. But I decided to teach myself CAD to kind of design that part.
Sure.
And I was practicing a bunch of stuff around the house. My now wife had bought me a safety razor, I think like a Mercure, I think a 34C. And I practiced, what I would do is I'd go around and I would copy designs like a coffee mug. I would just measure it and then I'd redesign it in CAD so I could learn that skill.
Yeah.
And I would just do that in random things around the house. One day I did with a razor. I thought that was kind of cool. And then I had that 3D printed like I do with some of the designs. And I shaved with it and it was like terrible, but it was really fun. And so I actually just like, changed that design, thought it'd be fun to make a new one. And then one day I was thinking, oh, it'd be really cool if this was made out of some premium material like stainless steel or something crazy like that. No idea that existed. So I went and looked it up, and that's where I found actually Above the Tie. And I found like, oh wow, there's a whole market for this. I think this is actually 2014 when I was doing this design work, and took those designs that wound up becoming the Blackbird. And at the time, I don't think you could really do this so easily now, but literally just taking screenshots of the CAD design, I started an Instagram page and got a decent traction there. Had some prototypes made, found a couple, like you can almost call them believers, like evangelists, as initial people
Sure.
who really drove the recognition of our product and of the Blackbird. And then we launched a Kickstarter campaign. Round one failed, and then we did another one in August of 2015, and that succeeded. And now here we are a decade later. And now
Amazing.
we own a machine shop and a couple brands. Um, yeah, so it's been a pretty fun ride.
And it's also, I mean, the Blackbird, well, pretty amazing that a bicycle pedal design led to what is now referred to as an iconic razor. People love that razor, really do. I have one. I have a titanium one, and it's
Oh,
treasured.
cool.
Uh, Amazing how things happen sometimes. From bike pedal to described as aggressive, but incredibly smooth, incredibly efficient razor.
Sure.
That's a great origin story.
Never did make that bike pedal, by the way,
Oh
in
no.
case anyone's
Okay.
curious.
Are you still into
No.
cycling though?
No,
Oh,
no,
okay.
not nearly as much. I've
Right.
kind of switched sports. Still run, but I'm just less into the triathlons. I'll probably get back to it at some point. But nowadays, I do rock climbing and running still.
Sure. Fun. And you're in California, right?
Yeah, we're in San Diego now. When I started the company, I was in Indiana, then moved to Ohio, then San Francisco, and we've been in San Diego for the last 5 years now.
Okay, great. And you love it more than anything? San Diego? I've never been.
No.
Been to LA. No, you
No, I
don't.
don't.
Oh,
It's okay. I grew up like an hour east of here, and San Diego, there's a reason why people love it, but
yeah.
I enjoyed the Bay Area better,
Okay.
and I also enjoyed the Midwest. I miss having seasons. Like right now, it's 90 degrees, here in late October,
Sure.
and I miss seeing a yellow leaf. I miss having trees everywhere. I miss that kind of thing. San Diego's a great place. Obviously, it's fine, but it's not my place, if that makes any sense.
Fair enough. It does make sense. And I'm completely on the other coast in Montreal, up in Canada. So we have distinctly four seasons. I'm looking at some beautiful leaves right now.
Don't tell me
Uh,
about it, man. Don't tell me about it. Usually
well,
every year.
let's talk in February where it's, too cold to go outside, right?
Yeah, fair enough. Usually we go on a fall trip every year, my wife and I, and this year we have a newborn right now, so we're not doing any traveling. So I'm really missing the fall this year,
Sure.
and so I would trade spots with you at least for this month.
Fair enough. Fair enough. And boy, would I love to, dabble in running a razor manufacturing company. So anytime you want to trade, you just you let me
Whew, man,
know.
honestly, it
The
depends what day
listeners
you
can't
catch
see
me,
that
but
face, but I did. Yes.
yeah,
Uh,
lots of headaches there.
oh, I'm sure. I'm sure. But how does it feel to never have had a real job?
Yeah, that's true. I've never had a career job, if you will,
Right.
outside of my own
I
business.
would too.
Obviously, I worked my whole, like through high school and college, but never a career. I think that the grass is always greener on the other side, and there's a lot that I feel I could have benefited from that. And in hindsight, I look back and go, oh man, if I had just worked somewhere for a few years, I wouldn't have to reinvent the wheel so many times, and maybe the business would be stronger for it. But I don't know if that's ever going to happen. I've always wanted that. And, I know a lot of people who work in career jobs and they wish they started a business. And here I am sometimes wishing that I had the career kind of background and experience. So,
Sure.
there's always benefits to both sides, but
Of course.
realistically, I wouldn't have any other way. I like it's exciting to be on your own and that feeling of
Sure.
the boats are burned, you have no backup, you better make this work. I really thrive in that environment. And so yeah, realistically, this is just me, and I probably would never go the other way.
Right. And, even having burned the boats, it has worked. So it's a great place to be,
Yeah, it has to.
you know?
Yeah.
But tell me, after a decade of making razors, do you even enjoy shaving anymore? Or is it like,
Yeah, shaving, I like shaving actually, and I go through phases where I like it more than other times. I've had, a lot of the time I've owned the company, I've had a beard. I still, trim up the neck, whatever. But
sure,
right now, for the record, I'm clean shaven,
I
and
can, yeah, yeah,
so right now I'm actually really enjoying it. But I would say that I'm a hobbyist by profession, less so than a profession by hobby,
okay,
and I've grown to really enjoy shaving, but I know that our customers are better shavers than I am, and more diligent and more thoughtful about it. But I like it. Right now, I'm rocking the Vector the last few weeks,
okay,
and sometimes I forget what my own razors shave like. Not because I don't use them, but because I'll be using a prototype or I'll be using just whatever new thing we made.
interesting.
And most of the time, I wind up just doing, testing things rather than using something tried and true.
Yeah,
But lately, I've been reaching for the Vector, and man, I just love that razor. So that's actually kind of reinvigorated my love of shaving just in the last few weeks right now. But
fantastic.
yeah,
Can I ask what kind of blade you prefer in the Vector?
sure. Right now, I actually have a Predator Pro Guard for
Yeah,
no other reason than that's what I had in my cabinet at home.
okay, sure.
And yeah, it's great. I prefer the professional, I guess, or even a Schick Pro line most times, but the Pro Guard is just incredibly smooth and easygoing. And because I don't have a boss, like I don't really care about having the world's closest shave often.
Sure.
I prefer a one or two pass shave. I don't do it against the grain. And um so I think the Pro Guard is just perfect for that. Like you can just kind of whip it across your face, never even think about it, and get a really nice, comfortable shave.
Yeah.
It's hard to beat. Although I do prefer the Pro Guard a little bit, or sorry, the professional for a bit more closeness.
Super sharp though. I won a Vector actually as a Leather Games prize. So that was,
Oh, you did
I
this year
did.
or last year? Did we
No,
do?
last year, 2 years ago,
Yeah, I
maybe
think.
even.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, we've done it last. I think 3 years,
Okay.
at least two. I think three.
Prized possession, and I use it to
Oh,
shave
cool.
my head. I really enjoy it for my head way more than my face, interestingly enough. But the
Mm-hmm.
Feather Pro blade, woof, that's some sharpness, let's just say.
Yeah, I think that I don't shave my head, but
Right.
from talking to customers over the last many years, that might be one of the best places that the Vector excels at is head shaving. We have a lot of head shavers use the Vector. It
Right.
just makes sense. It's wide, it's light,
It's
and it's
nimble. Yeah.
agile.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I can imagine it just makes a lot of sense for
For
what
sure.
for head shaving.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it certainly does for me. So I love it. It's my only head shaver, in fact. Do you have, of all your models and prototypes and all of that, do you have a favorite? I know you're, tripping on the Vector
Mm.
right now, but
Yeah, it's tough because the way I think about our products is like can't really be divorced to how I think about them as designs, like as
sure.
products that we make.
Yeah.
Like there's the end user experience, and then there's the making of it and the designing of it.
Right.
And so my answer will change a lot. Um, I think that I think the Vector might just overall be my favorite of our products.
Okay.
In that, as if I had to pick one, in that it to me is the closest match between design and some innovative things we did like with the center post and that like we're the first ones to make the head that small.
Yeah.
And so I was really proud of that. And also I just really like to use it. So I think in those two things combined, that's probably the closest. I'm also really proud of the work that's gone into the making of the Osprey.
Sure.
Really tough product to manufacture and engineer to get that to function perfectly. And so that's definitely our most complicated product. And I'm extremely proud of that one from that perspective. So each one has a little reason why I love it. But if I just had to pick one, I guess I pick the Vector.
Okay. Interesting. What do you, given that you're not a collector, what do you think of all these, crazy shave collectors, and all of this fear of missing out and, obsessive,
Yeah. Well,
conspicuous consumption, we can call it.
hey, first of all, I would say thank you
Yeah, right.
because that's the first thing. But it reminds me of this. When I first started, I've told this story, I think, on a podcast before, but I'll tell it again because it's worth telling. When I first did the Kickstarter I was in the middle of moving to Columbus, Ohio from Indiana,
Yeah.
and one of the backers who is now a good friend of mine named Craig, he reached out and said, "Hey, I'm actually like I saw you're moving to Columbus and I actually live in Columbus." I was like, "Wow, cool." He's like, "Yeah, we should meet up and have some lunch sometime." And I was like, "Okay, awesome." This is my first person I've ever met through wet shaving, in person. And we met up at this like Mediterranean cafe. And we walk in, Craig's such a cool guy. We hang out. And after a couple minutes, he's like, "Oh, wait, hang on. I forgot something." And he runs out to his car and he comes back carrying this like trunk like I don't know, probably like 2 feet by like a foot by like a foot. And he sets it on the table. It's like thunk, it thunks down, and he like pops open the little clasps, lifts up the hinge, and I had no idea what he was going to show me. And then inside there, he had like 20 or 30 or something of the all the expensive machine titanium and stainless steel razors that I'd ever heard of. They're
Wow.
all there. He had this like custom foam box created. Each one had its own little
Sure.
spot. And that's when I came to understood or came to understand what our customers were going to be like. Like that's when or at least a lot of them, not all of them, but that's when I understood the collector mindset. And he was like,
Yeah.
"Oh yeah, actually, I think he said I have two more of these at home."
Oh God.
And then I wound up going to his house, several times, and since then I've met a lot of Craig's. But that was my
Sure.
first kind of foray. And what I've come to understand is that I don't know what it is about men, and I do think it's kind of specifically men, but for every thing that there is, whether it's like troll dolls, pens, knives, guitars, razors,
Yeah.
there's a bunch of dudes who are just obsessed with it to the highest degree possible. Um,
Interesting. And you
and
say
I don't know,
mostly men. Yeah, I can see that.
women, have their things too.
Shoes. Yeah,
Sure.
right.
But for men, it could be anything.
It's
Like
true.
they're
It's
men.
true.
they're,
It gets very niche. Yeah,
yeah, and so I've come to I don't have an opinion about whether collecting is good or bad or not, but as far as collections go, I think shaving's pretty innocuous. So
sure. Absolutely.
yeah, and
All for a good
and
purpose and tied into
sure,
self-care somewhere. So
yeah, and you can get much more. Here I am selling expensive razors, but you can get a lot more expensive hobbies. That's for sure.
Sure. Listen, I've, recently gotten into straight razors, and that's a very expensive
Yeah,
end to this hobby. That's for sure.
that's for sure.
That was actually one of my questions. I'll jump to it right away. So, Blackland straight razor, when?
Yeah, it's on our so my it's on our list kind of.
Is it really?
My bit yeah,
Oh, that's
it
exciting.
it yeah, don't get too excited. We have a really long list.
Right.
Uh there's a lot of things on our list. But yeah, my business partner Tyler is who's also our head of manufacturing, is very into the idea of blade making.
Okay.
But I've had to I'm like the one holding him back
Right.
because we just have too many things on our list.
Sure.
And the like the infrastructure and like institutional knowledge to properly create a blade is much different than just machining a razor. And so it's
Fair
not
enough.
even so it's like, kind of adjacent to what we do, but it's not really exactly like overlapping skill sets very much, not as much as you might think. And there's a
Right.
lot more of like an artisanal quality to it in the honing and in the bevel and all that.
Sure. Even
And
forging it, for sure. For sure.
and ultimately, I just, while I'm sure we'll make some sort of straight, be that a shape, definitely do a shave ad. I would do a true straight. I'm not sure because really it's a um it's a business decision. Like I think that there aren't
Of
that many
course.
straight razor models. So like to switch over our manufacturing to that, or at least in part, we'd have to really believe in it as a revenue generator, unfortunately.
I understand. Listen, the fact that we're discussing it and that it's, you say it's on your list, be it a long list, is encouraging to me. So we can just put a pin in that, right?
Yeah, yeah, there's still hope.
Right. Okay. Are many of your clients sort of just one-time buyers? You've said before, you don't have to spend $200 on a razor.
Hmm.
Yet many of us choose to, and multiple times. I have a few Blackland razors, actually.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, obviously we have a high returning customer rate,
okay.
something I'm proud of, but the bulk of our sales don't come from that. Significant amount does, but we get a lot of new customers. I think there's this kind of belief that all the people who are in the forums or the groups or the subreddits who are active are like the only people, and it's just not the case. They're the loudest ones, they're the ones you recognize a lot. They're
Of
all
course.
the names we see all the time. But there are a lot of people, and we deal with who just want to get the best shave that they can, and
Right.
they want maybe almost always they've had a safety razor, not always, but the vast majority of the time they've had a safety razor, be that a Mercure or something,
Yep.
and they just want to skip all the middle steps and just go, hey, look, I want to just have the one. I don't want to do anything else. I don't want to like upgrade slowly over time. I don't want to collect. I want to jump from here to the end. Help me do that. And we get a lot of customers like that.
It's interesting. Because in the end, oftentimes this hobby is pitched as save money, be efficient. All these, carts cost a lot of money.
Sure.
So I can see that the people I associate with are the opposite. We just buy compulsively. I have enough soap for, my family, your family, and all of our grandkids, I'm sure. But
Yeah, yeah.
that's good to hear that it's not just us.
Yeah, I think people would be surprised about how many people buy razors at this level who would not consider themselves to be hobbyists.
Right.
Obviously, they care about their shave, so there's that, but they're not what we would consider to be like hobbyists. They're not,
No, they'll buy,
active forum members. Yeah.
right. They'll buy one razor and keep it forever and use that.
Yeah. And we have
Sure.
people who come also straight from cartridge razors occasionally.
Okay.
Less often.
Yeah.
Less often for sure. But and I wouldn't even recommend that, by the way. And I usually tell them that
Right.
that yeah,
That's fair.
don't do that.
No, you certainly have
Um
to work, or in my case, I had to work my way up to a Blackbird, but
yeah,
glad
I
I
think it's
did.
worth it's worth starting somewhere like any other thing. I would hate for somebody to just drop $200-300 on something they have no idea if they
Right.
even like it at all.
For sure.
I guess we do have return policy, but still you know, I don't feel very good about that kind of thing.
No, that's fair. That's fair. So do you think the pie of wet shaving is still growing? I mean, are we in a golden age? Has it come and
I
gone?
haven't I have no idea.
Oh,
I do know that people in white shaving like to talk about this a lot. Like I think
yeah,
there's a few threads right now talking about it. And basically every year since I've been doing this, there's been, have we like the market's so saturated? Are we at the peak? Oh, like this soap company closed down. It must be the end for the artisan. And I don't know. Here we are. Like from I actually don't spend. I used to kind of care about this, and I guess on some level I care, but it's not very knowable. And so I don't try to think about like what percentage is wet shaving growing year over year. I think, frankly, how many customers do I have year over year?
sure.
Are it, I don't know if my slice is growing or if the pie is getting bigger, but we're seeing growth,
It's
and
great.
we're not seeing the contraction that everyone's afraid of. Whether or not that means the whole industry is growing or not, I don't really know. My sense is that it's doing okay.
Yeah,
Um, that's just kind of how I like an intuitive feeling on it. Of course, I'm maybe a little biased because I kind of want to believe that because that definitely does help. But I think you have a lot of companies a la Henson Supply, Leaf, who are putting good money into marketing, and the entire wet shaving community and the vendors in it, are to some extent riding in that wake a little bit.
sure.
And of course, we do our own marketing as well, but that like breakthrough into the larger market,
Yeah,
I think helps. And so they're doing a lot of the education for us. And so I think that and also a lot of like active YouTube channels really help. Whether or not that, like I said, whether or not the pie is truly growing, I don't know, but seems to be at least healthy, if not growing.
it's interesting. That's a great answer. And it sort of seems the same to me, although I don't really know beyond just being an end user. So, you know,
Yeah, I mean, you know as much as I do, frankly,
right.
pretty
Well, you're in
much.
the industry, you're sort of, you see the client base and such. I just interact
It's
with
true.
some
I-
obsessed weirdos and not much more than that, right? So,
Yeah.
bit of a
Well, a lot
difference.
of
I
us.
don't know.
Yeah, yeah. No, I mean, I guess I have more insight than you, but I'm only looking at the data I have.
Right. Fair enough. What's the hardest part about making razors? And you recently bought a machine shop, right? Or acquired, well, a machine shop acquired above the tie. Uh,
Yeah.
is there a huge learning curve associated with that?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Imagine.
yes.
Right.
Yeah, machining, it sucks. Like it's awesome. I love it. And I knew it sucked before I bought it, but it is hard. It's
Sure.
not I did not believe this before I, bought a machine shop, obviously. But a lot of people out there believe that, hey, like you just put the metal in the machine and, you know, you
Does the
load a
rest.
program
Yeah.
that just exists out there. I guess it's easy to do or something, and then you push a big green button. And it is so much more involved than that. And I think
Sure.
that, but the machining isn't even the hard part in 100% because I have a really great machining partner in Tyler, our head of manufacturing, and he is our machining guru. And so I thankfully have to do very little of the high level machining. I will
Right.
sometimes go load machines and stuff like that when we need extra hands. Um, yeah, but that is, that's the easiest form of quote unquote machining. Well,
Right.
it's all the high level decision making, but the hard part about running a machine shop is running a machine shop. Like that's been the learning curve.
Sure.
Making any one razor is not that big of a deal, but managing inventory, managing raw materials, managing the different, managing the machines, and it's just a much larger operation. And so, we effectively, at least from an expenses perspective and from just a stuff to do perspective, like we like
Yeah.
more than doubled um, you know, our 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 workload by acquiring a machine
Sure.
shop. And so
Sure.
things just get a lot more complicated. And yeah, it was definitely a learning curve for sure.
Okay.
But I think it probably took us a good, honestly, probably about, well, it's only been, let's see, like 15 or 16 months since we took on manufacturing. And I would say it
Okay.
took about 12 of those months to really feel comfortable in it.
Wow. Okay. Now things are up and running smoothly and sort of chugging
100%.
along.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, we're in a really good spot now. And And it's and I say 12 months, but that's I feel like where we really found the true benefit of it.
Yep,
Obviously, I did the math and I knew that there would be a benefit to our business by doing it this way. But it took a while for that to come to fruition.
for
And we
sure.
also, moved shops and bought new machines, and we did a whole bunch of expansion stuff too.
Yep.
But
Will Blackland start producing more than just razors now that you have a machine shop?
yeah, definitely.
Bicycle
Um,
pedals, that sort of thing? Yeah.
That's
Now's your chance. Yeah.
a super good answer. Yeah. Um, the answer is yeah, we'll definitely expand beyond that in 2026.
Okay.
That's a
Amazing.
tighter list. And yeah, in part because, well, actually the main reason is because we want to. Like
Yeah,
I never wanted to be constrained to razors, but ultimately like growing the business is more important than just doing little things I want to do.
sure.
But now that we are very close to having manufacturing, for lack of a better term, solved,
Yep.
um, we will have the bandwidth to be able to switch over to things that are more passion projects and interesting in 2026.
Okay. Great. That actually is a great segue to a question I have about, I think it's called your lab, the lab,
We call it the
uh,
workshop.
the workshop. Okay. Sorry.
Yeah.
Where the Cube Razor prototype and other fun things came from.
Yeah. Yep.
I think that's fantastic. What is there sort of a reason behind that or a reason as to why? Or what was
Sure.
it
Yeah.
called?
Batch two.
Batch two. That's it. What's
Yeah.
why? I'll just ask why.
Ooh. I want to circle back a little bit and like revise one of my first I would say that you asked me earlier which razor I'm most proud of. I
Yeah.
wouldn't say batch two is like my proudest,
Okay.
but it's up there. It's up there. Like it's a I don't know, it's in the top five or something. And that razor is just really cool. For those who don't know, it's just a rectangle. Like it doesn't look like a razor, it just looks like a hollow rectangle. And that whole thing started with, in my dozens of design in my computer, if you will, from like everything from just little sketches to full on could be made product.
Yep.
But honestly, I just get really tired of looking at safety razors the way we know them.
Sure.
Just like it just looks like a T, and they all look the same, even when they look different. Like even when they're the Blackbird, even when I know the difference, even when you know the difference. If you like step more than 5 feet away, they all look the same.
Right.
And I wanted something that is interesting visually, something that's compelling, something that's off-putting to like half the people, just
Yep.
something to, I don't know, just something that makes people not to be too highfalutin about it, but like feel a certain way. Just like I just want people to look at it and like have an opinion. And that's
Uh,
what our workshop is for. It's a place where we can do stuff that
sure.
I don't have to commit to forever,
Yep.
where we can just play with things and create interesting novel ideas that don't really maybe make sense in a permanent way. And so Batch Shoes came out with this idea of like, what if we made a razor that didn't look like a razor at all? What if it
Sure.
just looked like a rectangle? And from there, it started out kind of as a joke, and then we 3D printed it. And as soon as we had it kind of in our hands, we're like, oh, this is pretty cool. And it turns out that there's the entire reason of making this was not to have any like benefit. It was just to make a rectangle. That's the
Sure.
entire point.
Yep.
But turns out there's actually a lot of benefits to rectangle. And among them is it offers like almost infinite grip positions.
Sure.
And you basically, can hold it from the sides, you can hold it from the center, you can hold it from the walls. And all those different grip orientations actually provided a lot more functional benefits than we expected. And so it actually turned out to be just a really good product.
Yep.
Good in terms of it accomplished what we wanted to, which was eye grabbing. It sold out. It was cool. Some people hated it. All the stuff we wanted, but what we didn't expect is how many people loved it. Not just because it's different, but also because it shaves really well and it was
Sure.
functional, and they discovered benefits to it that we didn't even expect. So yeah, it's possible that that product could come back in a more permanent basis. I don't know, but I really like it, and I do want more people to experience it. Um, yeah, that was a really cool one. Batch two is definitely stands out, and we hope to now that production is starting to catch up. I expect to revitalize or get more active with our workshop series next
Sure.
year as well.
I love that. I think that play and creativity is a great way to discover things, as you've seen, and it's a nice thing to have as part of your corporate culture, if that's in fact the case.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun for us. Like it's at least for
Sure.
us as much as it is um, for the business. Because ultimately, like we don't really make much money on the workshop because,
Right.
but especially for like batch two, because yeah, when we just make a Blackbird from different material, that's a lot easier.
For
Still
sure.
not super easy, but when we have to make a whole new product, there's a lot of experimentation in that. Like we didn't, I don't think we made a dime. I'm sure we lost a good amount of money. But it doesn't matter. That's not the point of it. The
Right.
point of it is experimentation. It's more speaking about who we are as a company and as a brand,
Yeah.
and giving our customers something fun.
I think that resonates a great deal. I haven't tried it, but I'm obsessed with it. And certainly as a designer, it's novel and unique to me. So good on you for doing that. How many did you make? Just out of curiosity.
I think we, if memory serves me, I think we sold 90.
Okay.
I think that was capped at 90.
Yeah.
Of course, we made a few more than that, but not a whole lot.
Okay. And in general, do you have a favorite material to work with after making all of these different or using these different metals and such?
I think titanium. I hate
Okay.
to say the one that's the most expensive, but it's true. I mean, we actually really like machining titanium here. We
Yeah.
get beautiful finishes. We just love the way that titanium machines, which is, I don't know, we just gotten used to it. And titanium is notoriously difficult to machine, but we just kind of like get it.
Yep.
Uh, and I think it might be the perfect razor material anyway. If you take away the cost, which is a big thing to take away, but if you can
Sure.
just ignore that for a second, I think it's the ideal material. It's midweight. It's heavy enough where the weight of the razor does some work, where it doesn't feel like a toy, where it feels substantial in your hand. It's not so heavy that it's constantly adding pressure where you don't want to, or adding to like user fatigue.
Yep.
You can use it for head shaving comfortably. I think it's the ideal material. I like aluminum too. But to me, titanium is hands down the best material.
Okay.
It doesn't mean I would always say you have to buy that. Like for the Vector, for example, the stainless version and the titanium version are close enough that from a bang for the buck perspective, I think stainless makes sense. For
Yep.
the Blackbird, I think titanium is transformative and you should get the titanium. But just by and large, yeah, titanium is that's
Okay.
our go-to.
Sure. I
Yeah.
hear that. And that's probably why it's the most expensive metal in this sense. It's great.
Yeah, it's part of it.
Yep.
Awesome.
What's important to you about carrying on brand consistency, like say with above the tie?
Hmm. Uh, yeah, it's extremely important to me, especially for above the tie.
Okay.
Above the tie, to me, when we started, like I told you, the first company I came across when I found that people made razors like this was above the tie.
Right.
This is back in 2014 or so, and they were the kind of pioneers in that space in a lot of ways. There were others, but they were the ones who all the things that we think of today for stainless razors, like a lot of that was created by them. Even like the price point, the customer service expectations, they really forged a lot of the trail that we follow.
Sure.
And in fact, like I basically looked at them and went like, oh, these guys seem competent. They seem like they have a pretty good business. That gives me hope for Blackland. And so we modeled Blackland in a large way off of Above the Tide and what Stan was doing at the time. And particularly in like just proof that we could make it in the USA and um, and still sell a lot and still have a relatively high price point, but you still have a strong following, have really strong commitment to customer service. And so we modeled Blackland a lot after Above the Tie.
Right.
And so when they wound up kind of winding down operations, it was like, wow, this is a brand that I care about personally, that I know means a lot to the wet shaving community, and that really forged the way for everyone else. So if we can take this under our wing and continue that tradition,
Yep.
then we should. And so that was a really great opportunity and something I'm really grateful for the Hickam family for allowing us to buy that brand.
Yep.
And breathe new life into it, I think, and revitalize it in a way that it deserves. And so to answer your question, I care a lot about it.
Okay.
But to me, like what a brand is not a logo or even any given product. It's really just a value set. And with Above the Tie, their commitment to quality, customer service, and really just giving it their all, I think is something that we still continue with both brands today.
Sure. Interesting. And that's a great answer. Um, who does your graphic design for all of that? I think I know. I think I saw that. Is it Beauregard Media? Are they the
No, no, we
department?
work with Bogart for our photography and
I see.
videography.
Okay.
So most of our photography still and some of our videos are through them.
Yeah.
That's Miguel, also Canadian,
Oh, nice.
and super super cool, talented young guy. He and his fiance or maybe wife now, whatever. They carry on. They're both amazing people, and we've been working with them for years.
Yeah.
But for Above the Tie, I actually worked with my friend Michael Gauthier, who is a great creative. And he helped us. He's a local. He's like in my one of my dad friends. We also climbed together,
Sure.
and he and I worked together on the Above the Tie branding and website,
Okay.
and we wanted to capture the heritage of Above the Tie
Yep.
and but also breathe new life into it. And in the we wanted to still pay homage to where it came from, but also with the understanding that like we're going to move forward. And so we're gonna
Sure.
start with a clean slate and still look back at where we came from and never shy away from that, but also acknowledge that this is a turning point, an inflection point, and a kind of like refocus on what Above the Tie should be, and kind of a like reemergence from, in my opinion, like it started to kind of take a downturn, and we wanted to bring it back to the kind of glory days of Above the
Sure.
Tie, and I think we've done that, and
Yeah.
um, I think the products are that brand is actually doing extremely well now,
Fantastic.
and I'm super proud of that and excited for it.
It's great. That's great. I've heard, or in doing some research, that your wife is your high school sweetheart, that's wonderful.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
it's true.
that renews my faith in love still. No. Um, is she still better than at everything than you are?
Yeah, mostly.
Right, mostly.
Uh,
Okay.
yeah, yeah, she's the more competent of the two of us, by far, which I think is true of like a lot of marriages. No, but
Sure.
Marissa is she's an impressive woman. She has an incredible career in her own right, and she's super interesting. She obviously keeps our household running. And I look up to her in a lot of ways. And that's what I talk about when I mean like the career benefits. Like she is a more straight line career person, but
Okay.
she pursues it with like an intensity and it's done incredibly well for her. And
Yeah.
so she almost has like an entrepreneurial spirit, but inside of a like organizational structure, if that makes
Corporate
sense. Like
career. Yeah, sure.
she's like a business of one working within a system.
It's nice that she
And
can flex that because oftentimes in the corporate structure, there's no room for that.
she
That's
somehow
impressive.
manages to find
Yeah,
room. She's that kind of person who just kind of wiggles her way into things
sure.
and knows where she wants to go and figures it out. And yeah, I'm super fortunate to have her and obviously the two kids that she's created,
Absolutely.
I guess. I don't know, is that what you say?
Created.
Um
Yeah, with
yeah,
you,
whatever.
it takes
Sure,
two.
yeah. It mostly
Um,
takes the one
heirs,
mainly, but
heirs to the Blackland fortune.
oh God.
Is she
Yeah.
involved in Blackland at all, or just on a?
No, she has been like here and there occasionally.
Okay.
She helped us. We just started offering healthcare to employees, and
Oh,
she helped
nice.
with that because she works in that space.
Sure.
And she's better at managing bureaucracies, but no, she's not part of Blackland.
Okay.
Um, she's helped here and there, but no, she's too busy. And yeah, I think it's unless I have a specific ask for her, I think it's best for us to work separately on our
Sure.
own careers
Yeah, that makes
independently and
sense.
support each other that way.
Makes for some space. Absolutely. Do you ever do any trade shows or meetups, that sort of thing?
It's been a long time.
Okay.
We wanted to go to Maggard
I think I remember that this past
last year.
year,
We
right?
we
Yeah.
expected to,
Right.
and I forget what came up, but something did at the last minute. We had
Sure.
to pull out of that. Um, and then we did a knife show like the year before. No, it's something we intend to do next year for sure. We want to make the rounds a bit more.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, no real good answer for you, but
No, that's a good answer.
yeah, I
There's
would
an
like to do
interest
more of
moving
them.
forward, and who knows, this.
We really want to bring some to Southern California too. So we've been talks of maybe doing one here at some point.
Are there
Um,
any big shaving groups out there that do meetups or
no,
companies? I
but there's
don't
a
know.
lot of people here, and
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Of
there's definitely
course.
a lot of customers. We
Yep.
every once in a while reach out to our San Diego customers, going to ask, "Hey, would you be open to this kind of thing?" And the
Yeah.
answer is yes. But like, I don't know, I hate planning stuff, and
Hmm.
so like events.
Right.
So as much as I would love one to happen, I'd rather go to one than make one, I think.
Oh, of
But
course, it's big
sometimes the
undertaking.
only way to yeah, but sometimes the only way to get that to happen is just do it yourself.
That's
So
fair.
I could see us doing that kind of thing in the future. Add that to that infinitely long list we talked about.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, it's good to keep a list. On that
Sort of.
note, any big future plans, in the works for Blackland? Any plans to acquire other brands, for instance? Or
We're always open if anyone
okay,
wants to
sell
anyone
their
wants to
brand.
walk in. Yeah. I mean,
Any
oh,
any any opportunity to open up a Canadian East Coast division of Blackland? Huh? Huh?
Oh, we ship. The we have our plan right now really is we're we're trying to we're in a growth phase and we're trying to kind of shore up manufacturing. We're still working on getting everything back in stock. At the Osprey, for example, has been out of stock for a while.
Yeah,
That's gonna be production now. We're getting very close to that point where everything is kind of fully stocked and we'll have a big surplus. And then our attention shifts to new projects
sure.
and more growth. So I would say this year has been about bringing above the tie up into kind of full production. And that's
Yeah,
still an ongoing process, but that's got great traction now. And less about Blackland. Like we haven't released a new Blackland product this year at all, with the exclusion of Workshop.
yep,
And we have some kind of I would call them relatively small. I think people will still like them. We have some relatively small things coming up. But yeah, next year is really just about growth and new products.
okay,
But probably at least for Blackland, maybe fewer shaving products. Workshop as excluded.
yep. Interesting. Still exciting. Are there new models for Above the Tie coming up, or keeping it as
We're probably going to add a single edge
okay?
to above the tie.
Nice.
That's very likely. We the two options with above the tie are at least from their catalog. We could do whatever we want, I guess, but likely we'll bring back either the SE one,
Yep.
their kind of standard one, or the X one, the slant, which I have on my desk and just still haven't used yet. I have one just kind of sitting there.
Yeah.
And people, I talked to a customer just yesterday who was just begging's too strong a word, but really wanted us to bring it back. And I need to maybe I'll take that home today and finally use that thing.
Okay.
But yeah, we have some decisions to make on that. But we're really trying to. I know people really want new products, but we're trying to slow roll it because it just makes a lot more sense to bolster your production and manufacturing and produce things at scale, and then use like the workshop as like our kind of smaller batch experimental zone. It's really a burden when you make a new product and then have to hold it forever.
Right.
And we have to be really, really thoughtful now about when we do that. So I never take those decisions lightly. And like if people want us to make like both those razors, for example, that's not going to happen, at least not in a permanent production space. It just makes no sense.
Sure.
Too much cannibalization between those things. And I would, as a just a fan of making stuff and as a kind of hobbyist in that world, I would love to just make everything and just that would be a ton of
Absolutely.
fun. But unfortunately, there's a whole business in the way of it,
That's right.
and there's people who have to get paid, and there's that stuff. which I like in its own way, but it definitely gets in the way of all
Oh,
the
for
fun.
sure. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. But I mean, it's
Yeah.
great that you keep a workshop and sort of experiment on the side. So that's
Yeah, we have to, and I'd like to do more of that. It's been underutilized. We've only done 3 batches. Um, but there's reasons for that because we have to get our we had more how do I say it? We had more growth this year than I expected across the 2 brands, which is a good problem to have, but it's still a
sure. Of
problem. And so
course.
I hate being a kind of company that has products that are sold out.
Yeah,
And so like we won't make a new product until we have our inventory issues completely sorted. And we're
that's fair.
probably 90% of the way there. Osprey being the last kind of domino to fall.
Right.
And once we're there, then the workshop opens back up to us.
Fair enough. If I can ask, have tariffs and trade wars and such been a problem for you guys most recently?
Um, it's a problem in the way that like I'm just sick of it, and I think it's
Well, I
just
think
I
we all
hate
are.
yeah, we all are. I hate hearing about it.
Right.
Um, it doesn't really impact our business in any
Okay. That's good.
meaningful way. Um,
Good.
some people won't buy from America for those reasons.
Yeah,
That's a relatively small amount, and I understand where they're coming from. So, whatever. But no, we haven't really seen we're not exposed to it very much. We don't really import much of anything. We see our raw material costs go up a little bit here and there, but as far as we're concerned, like our raw material costs are relatively small compared to the cost of the product. And so
sure.
the raw materials are not what's driving the cost of a razor. Not
Okay.
really anyway.
Right.
And so, if those go up by 10%, like we will um we won't be happy about it, but it's okay.
Fair enough. This is a recurring question on my podcast, so I'll ask you. And it is, would you buy another man's used soap?
Yeah, I have before. I don't do it anymore,
Okay.
but yeah, I've done it before. I don't care.
Sure.
Uh
Yeah.
like
Soap,
I really
after
don't.
all.
Yeah, I don't really care that much. If I would say that I don't know why this matters, but I would prefer to know the person, I guess. Like I
Yeah,
don't know.
look, everyone has their shtick involved. So yeah,
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's not something I really like care to do, but I have done it before, and I don't think it doesn't really like, gross me out or anything. It's
okay,
fine because
okay.
I mean you can just go like scrape off the top if you're worried
But
about
yeah,
it, right?
it's again, it's soap, right? So
Yeah, and especially if it's a hard soap because only the brush touches it, right? And I guess like indirectly
well, you
touches your
you like
face,
to
but
think
like
only the brush touches it, but that's
eh,
the thing with used soap, right? You never really know.
right. Well, I guess the not knowing makes it okay
Sure.
because
Yeah.
I just don't really care. Yeah,
No,
no.
no, fair
What's
enough.
the I've only listened to a few of your episodes so far. What's the ratio of yes to no?
It's mostly yes.
Yeah,
I think there's only been one, if maybe two, hard no's. And if I remember
do
correctly, Will from Barrister and Man was a hard no.
I could see that for Will. Yeah.
Right. But again, a personal choice, and it's, fair enough.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't care.
Yep. Do you have a favorite scent in all the soap?
Oh
Soap.
man, yeah. This is where we're gonna diverge a lot. Like I just don't care about scents very much at all.
Fair
It's funny
enough.
because I was actually listening to kind of in prep for this, but also just because I like listening. I was listening to the episode with Will.
Sure.
I guess I didn't make it to the part where he talked about the used soap, but in hearing him and his passion about fragrances and I find it really interesting, but I just don't care.
Yeah.
Um, and so yeah, I guess I like citrus.
Yeah.
So if I had to pick a kind of like category, I tend to prefer citrus, but yeah, I just don't care that
If you
much.
don't.
And I don't go like chase it out. I don't really know it very well.
Sure.
So if you put 2 cents in front of me, like I just don't have a palate for it. And so
Yeah.
I just go, yeah, it's kind of like when people taste wine for the first time, like, oh yeah, that tastes
That's good.
good.
Yeah.
It's basically how I am. I have
So
a
then
very
maybe I should
unrefined
ask, what's your
palate.
wife's favorite scent?
Uh, yeah, I don't even know. I think she also likes
You really don't
citrus.
care. It's yeah,
No, I mean like I
committed.
don't really like I don't wear fragrance very much. I rarely, if ever, use cologne. I know like all the listeners to this podcast. Like, oh God.
That's
Um,
sacrilege, Shane. No.
it really is, I know. And it's funny because I talked to like, a lot of my close kind of shaving friends, and I'm like the only one who just doesn't, because I think that actually soap and fragrance might be, you would know better, I guess, like maybe one of the biggest drivers of the wet shaving market. And I think it's because you can order,
It's
20 of them,
sure.
and it's a couple $100 or whatever, maybe more depending what you're doing, but you get one razor for that cost, right? It's something that makes sense. You get like all these different experiences. And so I get that, but yeah, I've gone through phases where I tried to care just because I felt like I should, and so I've bought like a
Sure.
ton of soaps that I'm still working through
Yep.
years later now. Yeah.
Story of my
And
life. Yep.
yeah, and of course, like we've dabbled with making or having others make
I'll
soap
have
for
you.
us, or
Okay.
yeah, and that's gonna happen eventually. But yeah, in that, I've had the opportunity to smell a ton of things, but I always have to rely on someone else
Fair
to
enough.
help.
Yep. So then, over the last 10 years, what's changed, if anything? And follow up to that, if you had to do it all over again, is there anything specific you would do differently?
Well, man, when you mean what's changed, you mean for
Well, I
me
mean, I
or
know
for
what's
like,
changed that you've acquired this and that and grown, etc., but
mhm.
the market, the experience in manufacturing razors, that sort of thing.
Sure. Yeah, I think that's a big question. I think
It
that
is a big question.
I'll talk, I guess, a bit more about like trends. Um, and we've seen, I think like lately you see the emergence of aluminum razors, and you just see all these trends over time. And I think that what I've seen change is I think people I think the biggest change I see on the razor side is materials. Like I really do. I think that in the general kind of philosophy of what a good razor is, like it used to be that like the biggest, heaviest chunk of steel was that's what you wanted.
Yep.
I like to think that in some ways we helped kind of push that away, and we were one of the several players kind of moving in that direction of making things that are smaller, more nimble, more compact. Lighter weight, less of an obsession about like big and bulky. Um, I think that is probably the largest shift that
Yep.
I've seen in safety razors. Of course, you also have like the emergence of pivoting head designs that are kind of here and there. And I think that's been really cool to see. And just like more innovation in that space, because people are clearly going like, okay, like just doing a regular three-piece razor is kind of getting a little old. And so
Sure.
people are trying to find new ways to stand out. And so I think that's the main thing that's changed, is that like you can't just make a three-piece razor anymore and hope that a bunch of people will come to your Kickstarter campaign.
Right.
Like I think that it's just gotten harder to stand out. And so I guess that, the roundabout way I'm kind of thinking through my answer, that would be probably my answer, is that it's just
Sure.
harder.
Yep.
Um and I think I got lucky in my timing. It was not some sort of like good idea. It just kind of lucked into it, right? Where I happened to find this at the right time, where you could do that on a shoestring budget, where you could come in and build a meaningful business with almost nothing to start with.
Sure.
And like if you go look at our Kickstarter campaign, it is like ridiculous, like how amateur it is, right? And I don't think you can really do that now. Um,
It's
you
interesting.
can on the flip side though, you can there are more tools available, so you can like be more professional for the same, budget, or if you
Right.
will. So there are like creator tools and website development tools and obviously like graphic design stuff that has gotten a lot better and a lot more accessible.
Yep.
Um, so there is that, but yeah, I think it's harder to stand out. And I think the only
Interesting.
reason why we're here is because we got there at the right time. And if I were to start a razor company today, um, it would be much harder.
Right.
And you would have to have like a really good hook, I think. Um,
Interesting.
it's really hard to, I think, make significant headway. Depending on like I mean, everyone's definition of success is different.
Of course.
But if we're talking about like a, decent size, like, I mean, I don't want to use this term because I think all businesses are real businesses, but like, a real business with like employees and something that like if I drop dead, you still get razors tomorrow.
Right.
Um, that kind of business, that I think it's really hard to make today.
Yep.
Unless you have yeah, unless you have the chops and like something like an interesting mousetrap.
Interesting. It brings me back to the question about the golden age. So maybe that was the golden age back
It
when you
golden
guys,
age in the yeah, golden age in the way that like any idiot like me could just go make a razor with like I think my total investment was like 4 grand or something.
no kidding. Wow.
Yeah, and that was almost 100%, and you can tell, but it's almost 100% on just prototypes.
Sure.
Like,
And that was for the Blackbird.
correct, yeah, yeah.
Amazing. Wow. And
Um,
again, look at, how iconic it's become, certainly amongst the, compulsive shavers.
that's right. Yeah, no, it's amazing how that product has gone, and we haven't even changed it. Not really. We've added things to it.
Right.
But it's the same now as it was then, and that's also just a stroke of luck. And I think I had some good sense to make that razor different.
Yep.
And I think that's the thing that I've always done best is that we've always marched a little bit to our own drum, kind of with my one, it's just kind of how I am, but two, I think that you have to create these little monopolies in business.
Sure.
And that's why I don't care like if the market's growing or not, because we're not um we're not trying to capture the entire market. We are trying to capture our own little monopoly within it.
Yep.
And the only way you can do that is if you're like sufficiently differentiated. And that can be hard to do, but like we've always, I've always strived to do that.
Right.
And I think that's kind of been the big difference maker for Blackland. That and just pure, stubbornness and just keep going like putting one foot in front of the other
Sure.
every day.
Well,
But
and
yeah, I've had to do
it's clear that you've also put a lot of thought into the marketing and sort of presentation of things.
yeah, but that's been a stumbling effort too, right, over time. Um, and I've, pieced it together eventually and we've become more and more professional. Um, I'm all about like incremental improvements. Like my kind of
Sure.
philosophy is like start now and get good later, and that's a continuing process. Like it's always that way. And we are continually like I'm always looking at what we're doing, and I think a lot of people would agree that like it's still kind of amateur here and there. We look at things and then I'm just not happy with it. And so every day we just kind of come in and go, how can we get a little better?
Right.
And that's something I'm really proud of. But to answer your second part of your question, what do I do differently? Man, I would spend some time learning how to actually run a business
Right.
and and not just going like because the reality is that making a razor is the easiest part. Um,
Okay.
not to trivialize it too much, but it's not only is it at least a good razor takes some time, but like that's table stakes, right? You have to have a good razor to be able to
Absolutely.
even be here at all.
Yep.
But it is not the hurdle that it might seem to be at first. Like that is not what limits people, I don't think. Um, to some extent, maybe, but like it hasn't been our limiting factor. Isn't
Right.
isn't making a razor. That's not the hard part. The hard part is all the other stuff. And I've made way more mistakes with the business than I have with designing a razor. And
Sure.
so I kind of had the belief at the time that you just make a good product and people will come. And honestly, I kind of was true a little bit, but um man, if I had spent 6 months or a year or a full degree working on business, I think that
Different.
I think we would have maybe just trimmed off a few years of difficulty.
Right.
And I think maybe we would be um 5 years ahead.
Fair enough. You've said in my research that passion follows proficiency. Do you still believe that?
100%. Yeah.
Right.
Actually, I was just talking to this with one of our employees, Mateo, today
Yeah.
because he's recently started running and he's been running for I don't know months. And today he's like, "Oh, it's awesome because I'm finally enjoying running." I'm like, yeah, you can't love running if you're just sitting on the couch. Like it's nothing is fun when you're bad at it.
Right.
And it, like I've also um I talked to a lot of friends trying to figure out what to do in life. And this is obviously way beyond razors, but they're yeah, different times in life, not sure, what they want to do, and they just don't have any passion. There's always this like obsession with passion, especially like among millennials and maybe Gen Zs as well.
Sure.
And I'm right in the mix, right in the middle of millennial, and like a lot of my cohort is kind of like this obsession with passion. I'm like, passion does not just hit you while you're sitting there. It doesn't. How could you? Like, how could you be passionate about something you've never experienced or you've never
That's right.
gotten good
That you
at?
don't know about.
Um,
Right.
yeah, you have to obviously start with an interest,
Hmm.
and that interest you know, can drive you initially, but you have to get good at anything before, at least in my opinion, before you can be passionate about it. At least, marginally good at it. You don't have to be great. You don't have to be elite, but you can't be bad at it and love it, I don't think. Or you
Right.
can't have never done it and be bad at it. So yeah, I
That's for
strongly
certain.
believe that. I
Yeah.
strongly believe that passion follows proficiency. And
Okay.
that's definitely true for me and everything I do, business and otherwise. If I'm not good at it, how could I love it?
I love that. Uh, Great attitude. Just out of curiosity, any really crazy client requests in your time at Blackland
Oh,
that you can share, that is?
no, I mean, it's hard to say how many of those were like real.
Right.
Like if we really came to them with an invoice, would they actually do it? I don't know. But we've had requests for like meteorite razors, dinosaur fossil stuff.
Yeah.
And like I think most of this is just people saying things because that's really easy to do. Um, I think as actual requests, we get a lot of requests for like um uh man, I don't know, I can't think of the
Like
can you really think can you think of the word for the layered metal
laminate?
that like
No.
no, it'll come to me. This is driving me crazy. But anyway, Damascus. Sorry,
Oh, okay.
Damascus. We've
Okay.
gotten a lot of requests for like Damascus and stuff. And Carbon's done some of that, which is super cool to see them do that and play with the
Sure.
materials that way. We get a lot of requests for that. We get a lot of one-off requests, like, hey, can you make like a dual comb Blackbird, open comb on one side, and can you do this
Right.
for me? And can you make me a super Blackbird that's like twice the blade gap? And um, I think what we have,
Everybody's extremely important and needs these things just for them, right?
what we have, what we have gotten requests for is like you can look back at some of our YouTube videos from like 2 years ago, and we made this giant Blackbird that's like it's in my office here actually. It's a 6 times scale, so
Oh,
it's
wow.
like
And it's
this
made of
big.
steel or
Yeah, do you want me to grab it? I know this isn't a video podcast, but I can go grab it and
sure. And
show it to you.
I
Yeah,
can
yeah.
describe it to our listeners. I'd love to see that. Oh man, you weren't kidding.
Yeah,
And what's that made out of?
this is aluminum,
Okay.
but for those who can't see, it's like bigger than my head. It's like
Yeah, yeah,
three
it's
feet
about
long.
half the
Um,
size of you.
Yep. And it's like perfectly to scale. And it actually works. We've had people when we made that, we had people ask if we would, make a bunch for them. And I
For
thought
sure.
I'm still open to that, I guess, because it's pretty cool.
It's awesome, like
But
bachelor party gift or something like that. Best man gift.
I
I mean, not
I
bachelor
guess, but
party,
it
but
weighs like 15 pounds or something. Like it's
sure.
um but we had some people ask for that, like giant blackbirds, I guess, are one of them.
Yeah, that's fun. And what kind of blade do you put in that? Just kidding.
We actually tried to make one.
Oh, did you really?
Yeah, and it just didn't. We couldn't get it right. We didn't want to spend too much time on it, so we moved on with our lives.
Fair.
But yeah, this was a big dumb waste of money that I love more than anything.
It's fun prop and give
Yeah,
it
and this is before we owned the machine shop though, so I had to pay for it, like real
right.
money. And yeah, it was like several $1,000s, and not money well spent, but money that I
No,
don't
but
regret.
again, a nice prop can stay outside of your corporate head office or something.
Yeah, it has not helped us generate like one additional dollar, so I guess
Well,
it's a stupid use of money, but I love it.
I don't know. Did you ever make a YouTube video of it?
Yeah,
I've described it to our listeners, but that's.
yeah, I think you'll find it, especially if they dig through our Instagram.
Yeah,
I think on YouTube as well, but definitely Instagram. Yeah, you can see in the background of a lot of our YouTube videos. We just kind of stick
okay.
it back there because I don't know what else to do with it.
Maybe one needs to try to shave with it and that'll really break it through to. Who knows?
Yeah, as long as they do it, with like 911 already kind of ready
That's it.
to go.
I'm on standby and yeah, that's all you got to
Yeah,
do.
sure.
Um, any hopes for the future, just in general, to sort of cap things off here?
Yeah, I do have hopes. What I want to do with Blackland is ensure its longevity by making myself less important.
Okay.
And I've worked harder at that over the last few years. Not because I'm like retiring anytime soon. I'm 36. I probably got some decent time ahead of me.
Yep.
But I want, and increasingly this is becoming true, but I really, there's a like, we're at an inflection point in terms of scale, which I won't like get too much of details of, but where we have to make like a decent jump. And then we'll be the kind of company where if I drop dead, I don't matter. And that's really important to me because, I don't always want to be here. Not
Sure.
in terms of like, I'm sure I'll run the company and own it for a long time, but I also want the option to not. And I want the option to, be gone for a month. And I'm close to achieving that. But to me, that's what's important. And it's not because like, oh, I just want to go, on vacation all the time. It's because I think that to create a proper business can't rely on one person.
Absolutely.
Er- And not only that, like we as a company and we as like our customers, I think benefit from a diversity of mindset and like having different hands in the pot. I think actually too many hands is too many. That can always be a problem, but I think having a more diversified approach, I think will help. And so my goal as kind of a business owner is to make myself less important,
Yep.
to empower others, and to let them bring their strengths forward. And I think that we'll all benefit from that. Um, I intend to keep like kind of steering the ship, but I increasingly want other people to do the rowing.
For sure.
And we've been doing that. So that's really my goal. And I know that's like a boring goal, but
I
that's
think that's
reality is
great.
that and that also allows me to focus my efforts on the things I really like doing, the designing, um the kind of like growth trajectory stuff. Like I don't really like cleaning razors all day.
Right.
I
That's
don't really
fair.
like I'm happy to do it because there's no job that I'm above, but especially in my own business. But I think the business is better off if I'm not doing that all day long.
For
And
sure.
I don't really do that much anyway. Like we're already pretty close to that, but there's some
That's
higher
great.
level things that I want to be able to achieve. And I think our customers will be grateful for that, whether they know it or not. I think they like the idea that I'm answering their emails all day, but I think that they'll have better service and better experience if there is more fallback
For
from
sure.
others.
For sure. Awesome.
Yeah.
I'll
And I also want to make non-razors. That's the
right.
other thing.
Yeah, for sure. Bike pedals, like we said, right? It's
Yeah.
I'll
Yeah.
certainly look out for the IPO from Blackland Razors.
Oh yeah, yeah. Keep your eye on that. It's coming so
Yeah.
soon.
It's not so soon.
Um yeah, right around the corner. Um well yeah, that's kind of where we're headed.
Fantastic. Well, this has been really great. So I want to thank you, Shane, for your time and your vigor in all of this. I really enjoyed our chat.
Yeah, thanks, Ray. I appreciate it. And yeah, if anyone else wants to reach out, they can find us at support@blacklandrazors.com
Cool.
or hello at abovethetie.com.
You
And
got it.
you'll probably get me no matter which brand you reach out to. But yeah, I appreciate the time, Ray. It was a lot of fun.
Thanks. And to our listeners, as always, thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you on the flip side.